guys, what's up? It is the Chinchilla Notebook here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is going to be a chin vlog and I'm going to be talking about how my first chinchilla died. I know that I've mentioned before that I had a chinchilla before, Merlin, my first chinchilla ever. And I've also mentioned that that chinchilla died and I never told you guys how. People have asked me before and I've just never wanted to really explain it or talk about it, whatever. But today I decided to kind of tell you guys how my first chinchilla died and my experience with my first chinchilla. So my first chinchilla's name was Timmy, and I know that's kind of weird, Timmy, but that's just what we named him, and I got him when I was really little. Okay, the way it worked is we had gone to the pet store that evening and I had wanted to get 2 mice because I thought they were super cute and I really wanted to get one. But my parents, while we were there and I was looking at the mice and I thought they were super cute, my dad noticed a chinchilla and he's like, what in the world is that? Because before that visit to the pet store, we had never ever heard or seen a chinchilla before. We were like, what in the world is this? We had no idea. So the guy told us, the worker told us a lot about what they were like and everything. And we thought it was so cute, and then when we pet it, it was super soft, so my parents were sold right away. And let me tell you, my parents did not like rodents at all. My parents are not very big on pets, like, in general, so when it came to rodents, they were just like, no, 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 absolutely not. And they felt my first chinchilla, Timmy, and when they just saw how cute they were, they decided to get one. That very night, the first time we had ever heard or seen a chinchilla, we bought a chinchilla, and we brought it home, and I'm not going to get into all the details, but basically I did not know how to take care of it properly. He had a lot of plastic, he chewed a lot of plastic, his cage was really small. It was probably like the size of maybe one of these levels, I don't know, but that was really small for a chinchilla. And he just didn't have proper toys, he had a really small wheel. We would actually put him in those hamster ball things, the ones that enclose and they just like roll around in a little ball. Anyway, I did basically everything that I could wrong with my first chinchilla. This happened 2 years ago. Let me see. Okay, so he died in 2015, and that's when I got Merlin. Back in that time, I kept Timmy and my first chinchilla down in the garage because my dad didn't like to have any animals in the house, which was really bad. Please don't keep your chinchillas or your rodents or anything in the garage like that. It was super bad because it would get really cold down there in the winter, so we had to buy him a heat lamp, and then he could have overheated because his cage was too small for him to like escape if he was getting too hot. Anyway, it was just a really bad situation. I don't want to dwell on that part, but basically what happened was he lived in the garage, and I was just starting to learn about chinchillas. I would watch YouTube channels like Snowflake Piggy, Chins and Pigs. I think Hedgy Chins was one of them. I don't know. I was just starting to learn a lot about chinchillas and using YouTube to do that. And I was going to get him a new cage. I had ordered him a new cage. This was the cage I had ordered him. But, yeah, I was getting everything right. I was starting to learn, getting proper information. I was going to move him up here into the laundry. It happened during the day. I went down because there was these 2 really big dogs. There was a German Shepherd and a Husky in our backyard, which, sorry, it's like really light, but our garage is underneath this deck, and the dogs were like out there in our yard, and so they kind of scared me because they were really big. So I went down to check on Timmy to make sure that he wasn't like freaked out or anything because the dogs were barking, and I was kind of scared too. I left, and I think I closed the door. So I remember closing it all the way, but to be honest, I might have not because the dogs were coming closer and I was getting really scared. So this was 2 years ago. So I closed the door really quick, or not 2 years ago, this was 3 years ago, what am I saying? I just closed the door really quick and ran up the stairs, and then later that day, we noticed that the dogs were gone. Like, we couldn't find them in the yard anymore. My mom looked around, she couldn't find anything, so it was all good. Oh, he's so cute. I had sticks for him prepared, like willow sticks up there on the laundry, so I went to get some and bring some down for him. And when I walked down, I noticed that the garage door was open. It was a small door, not the big door, just a small one, and it was open just slightly. I was like, what? I don't remember just doing that. I pushed it open all the way, and guys, this is the part I didn't really want to talk about. So just a warning, if you are sensitive about this kind of stuff, I suggest you just don't watch here, because, stop watching it at this point, because what I'm about to say is not the most pleasant thing ever. I was younger too, so this really freaked me out. So I walked in, and I just see, the first thing I see is Timmy's cage just knocked over onto the side. It was, everything in his cage was just all over the place. His hut, his food bowl, everything was a mess. It was all over the floor. And then I see two dogs, the same dogs, the German Shepherd and the Husky, the really big ones. And then in front of them, they were laying down on the floor, and in front of them is a ball of fluff. It's just this bowl of fluff. I don't want to describe everything too well, but there was just a ball of fluff, and there was blood everywhere. Like, there was just red covering around the ball of fluff, and just like around the dogs too. And I freaked out. I remember dropping the sticks right where I was at the door. Do not jump out. I remember just dropping the sticks right where I was at the door, slamming the door shut, and running up the stairs. I was crying. I was in shock, first of all, and then I was starting to cry because I realized what had happened. On the floor in the garage was my little chinchilla, my little Timmy, and I was literally going to get him a better life. Like, I was going to get him a better cage. It was this one. I was going to move him up here. I was going to just start doing better, you know? No, Merlin. It was just, I'm not going to tell you how old I was when this happened, but it was not okay. Like, I was freaked out. I ran up the stairs crying and just screaming, and I was like, Mom, where are you? Because I think she was home at the time. And she was so freaked out. She was like, what is going on? Because I was hysterical. I don't think I've ever been like that before. And because it wasn't just shock, but it was like, what did I just see? And so my mom, I had no idea what to do. I called my dad, and my mom called was it the Humane Society? I don't remember, but it was somebody who kind of like tamed or took care of the dogs. So, I don't know, she just called somebody, and they came, and they went in the garage, and they looked at the dog's tag. The dogs were actually friendly. So I was just scared, though, because I was little, and those dogs were big. Okay, well, I say I was little, but I was younger than I am now. The dogs just really scared me, especially since what they had done. So the guy looked at the dogs' tags, and they had phone numbers and addresses, so they called the owners. And it turns out the owners had been looking for the dogs all day. The dogs they lived like 1 mile, or I think 1 or 2, it was really far away from us. They lived like a mile or more away from our house, so I don't know how they ended up here. Both of them, but the owners came, and there was a lady. They were like an older couple, and the lady was so distraught. She was like, I am so sorry. And that's the thing, the owners, they were so kind about what had happened. They offered to pay for the cage. They offered to pay for the chinchilla. I had bought Timmy, my first chinchilla, and the cage with my own money, so I wanted to get another chinchilla. I was still really shocked, but they did pay me for that. But, you know, like, it seemed so stupid at the time, because I was like, my chinchilla just died, and you're paying me to get another one? Like, I didn't want another one. I wanted that chinchilla back. It was just a hard time for me, and obviously it's been years. I've gotten over it. I have Merlin now and everything, but sometimes I just think back, and I was like, I just really wish that hadn't happened. I mean, first of all, who wants that to happen to their animal? Like, that's not a way I want anyone to, like, my animal to die, my pet to die. And then second of all, like, that is not a very good thing for a kid to see. Like, I was traumatized. I was lucky to have those dog owners to be kind people, because the lady took Timmy and went and buried him. I didn't want to. I was way too, you know, disturbed. So I'll show you actually where he's buried. Underneath that tree, I don't know if you can see, that's a really bad garden right there. I don't know, I don't think you can see, but there's a pile of, my finger's so blurry, what in the world. There's a pile of rocks over there. They're rose quartz rocks, and I buried him underneath the tree. So, well, I didn't bury him, the lady buried him for me, but that is where my first chinchilla is right now. So that same day, like I said, I was really sad about this. I was grieving really bad, and my mom felt really bad for me, so she took me that day, and we went to the pet store again, and we found this guy. And I remember just being so in shock at the pet store. I went to the chinchilla aisle, and this is kind of cute, but I saw 2 chinchillas in there. They were 4 months old, and Merlin here, my mom, she asked me, which one do you want? And I looked at them, and this one, Merlin, was smaller, so I looked at him, and Merlin, he winked at me. He literally winked. And I was like, yeah, that's the one. And my mom's like, don't you want the bigger one? Because it might have better chances. I wanted Merlin because he winked at me, and he was so cute and small, so small and fluffy. So yeah, I got Merlin. From day one, he lived lavishly. He never had to know what life was like when with an unexperienced, unknowledgeable owner. That's the story of how my first chinchilla died. I don't know if a lot of you wanted to know, but that is the story. Like I said, this happened 3 years ago, so I've had Merlin for 3 years. And yeah, because when we first got my first chinchilla, we were little, me and my brother, so we would grab at him, we would lose him in the house and just chase after him. So he was really scared and traumatized, and he never like fully trusted us. But Merlin here, from day one, he was just friendly, and I made sure that the process was, you know, of settling into our home was good for him. So Merlin just all around is a little bit more pleasant because obviously he was treated right. He wasn't just harassed by a bunch of little kids like my first chinchilla. But anyway, I hope that you guys liked this video, and I just thought I would tell you how my first chinchilla died and my experience with my first chinchilla. Like I said, it was really sad, and yes, I know that I might get some people saying it's my fault, and honestly, I don't know my fault for putting him in the garage, and honestly, it was. I shouldn't have kept him down there, but now I know better, and I just want everyone to know that your chinchilla can have a better life. If you started out not knowing anything, I was like you, but worse, because I had no idea what a chinchilla was, and I bought it that very day. So that is the very definition of an impulse buy right there. If you enjoyed it, well, I don't think there's much to enjoy about this kind of story. If you were just wondering how my first chinchilla experience was, that was it. And this is my second experience right over there. Anyway, it looks like Merlin wants to go to sleep. He's done with story time, so I will let you guys go, and I will see you in next week's video. Don't leave me hanging.